Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of my SimCity 4 Pinecastle Let's Play. Lately I've just been playing the game on myself and working on Skywatch over here mainly, so I haven't really felt like making a video lately, but sorry it's been a couple of weeks, just catching up right now, so hopefully coming up with more regular ones in the future. Actually, here's Pinecastle, wasn't really touched it since the last video, so we'll go ahead and load that up. It has been taking a little bit longer lately. So, there we go. And there's that weird query sound that keeps playing all the time. Oh well. In any case, one of the last things I had talked about doing in the last video was just since I'd been fixing some of these directions of these one-way roads that were messed up, but thinking of extending this avenue a bit and connecting it with an interchange to this freeway here. So first of all, I do see some garbage piles right here, so I think there's probably a problem with it getting too high here. Yeah, we've got some. So let's see if I can. And I'm not exporting it right now. I guess I'm just. Must have an incinerator somewhere. It's probably over in the industrial part of the city. It's over here, actually. Maybe that's why I'm having so much piling up. Oh, actually, I do have two incinerators. I was like, okay, so I guess I can just build another one somewhere around here, probably. In Skywatch up north, that first city I showed you, you have an industrial area, but there's several incinerators, and they're kind of taking up a huge amount of land in actually the industrial place. So that's kind of a problem. It's because they need so many to handle the garbage, but that happens sometimes with bigger cities, I guess. But actually I do have this hyperspace garbage disposal, which is extremely expensive. But once you get, I mean, I have enough for it right now. In fact, I have 11 million saved up, so I could build that, but it's not really necessary yet in this city. That just basically takes care of almost all the garbage it can handle. I mean, I have actually gotten to the point where they can't handle any more with that in New Concord, because I have several tiles in the region exporting to one tile where all the garbage is handled and the power is generated in that tile. So, but I also have this, you can find this on Centropolis. It's called the Modern Waste Energy Plant, which is, it just has better filters for pollution compared to the game default one, which was pretty heavy polluting. Not really good for anywhere where there's like residential commercial development nearby. I don't really build landfills because, I don't know, they just take up a lot of space and they end up costing a huge amount of money for some reason in the game. Like the more garbage gets dumped in them, the more they'll cost you. And anyway, let me build this somewhere here. Got two of this paper mill, so I think I'll just put it right on top of this one. Well, you know what? Just build a mill further out, no reason not to, really. There. So hopefully the garbage levels will start going down. It looks like they've came to a top, their high point right now, so should probably put it in day mode actually, because it does get pretty hard to see stuff in the videos, I've found out, when it's nighttime. and in real life too, but I mean actually when I'm playing the game it's hard to see. So, I don't know. Anyway, the garbage should be handled now. Check it again in a month or so in the game. See if that's actually going down. But for now I'm gonna work on this interchange. So, I guess the first question is what kind of interchange do I want to build, and I've already figured out that it's going to be a four-way interchange, not because if this was closer to the water here, I could make it like a three-way or T interchange, this avenue, but I'm actually thinking I'm going to extend this avenue over the bridge and then kind of curve it to the left here, down to the south. Then eventually transition to connect with this over here, this one. Maybe even probably gonna build another interchange actually, right down here too. So we will first, actually before, okay, like I said, I gotta decide what type of interchange. So I'm thinking probably a single point urban interchange. In this case, because it's a densely built up area, or it will be at least. It isn't right now, of course, but I like to kind of conserve space even though I'm not retrofitting this into an area, since it's supposed to be like a realistic downtown. So I'm gonna do that. So also the single point urban interchange only works with 4-lane avenues right now. So let's see, what I'll need to do is put this puzzle piece here two times. There's that, and then what I think I'm gonna do is just use one of, well, where is it? This type of exit, A2. Use the flex ramps for that usually. This is going to need to be elevated, of course, so I'm going to put one of these here. I can't remember, does this work at level 1, which is the 8 or 7.5 meters high? Hopefully it will, because it's kind of pointless really. I don't even build at 15 meters. It's just game default very much anymore, so it's kind of too high up. Not really necessary. So I don't know, it doesn't look like it's working so far, so let's see if I can... so I'm not sure the flex spooey puzzle piece that I've used here supports that new, because this is a newer feature of the network add-on mod or the real highway mod, to have these different elevations. So I'm going to see if I can place the right transition ramp, A2 over here. Probably won't work, I'm thinking. I mean, it converts it to RHW4, but I'm clicking and it's still not converting this to fix it, so I guess, let's see. Unfortunately, I'm thinking it's gonna have to be 15 meters. And that's gonna need a longer ramp. I mean, I could use the default, the old ramps, which are that length, but that's really not realistic at all, so I just use the longer ones, especially since I have space for it. So I can just destroy all these then. It's nice to be able to see the tile grid when I press the G key. I can't do that in Skywatch because it's basically right at sea level and the game won't show the tiles in that case. Let's see. Probably could have built this a little bit further up, so I'm going to redo that. I think I might need to rebuild these pieces actually, so let me do that now. So I know for a fact this will work. Once I click a few times it will convert properly. So let's see, flex ramp for type A2 again. I usually use the draggable ramps when I'm building like a more basic ramp, like a 1-lane A1 or B1. 45-degree type, and it's just you can use those for the bigger splitter ramps like these, but it's just I have trouble remembering all the patterns. I have a chart that I found on SC4 Devotion that shows all the patterns you have to drag. Stuff like, you know, if I want to split this off, I guess it could be like, I forget what it is honestly, but you have to do stuff like, this is the regular B1, but I think it has to be like, you have to drag stuff diagonally. I don't know, it's hard to remember I'll probably get them down at some point, but I don't have them memorized really, so that's why I just go for the flex ramps in any case. So, now we can connect these here. And there you go, it's converting to elevated, it's fixing itself up now. That looks a lot better and correct. And now when I drag the ground highway through, and that works pretty well. Okay, so yeah, that's all that's left to do now is, let's see, what is left to do? I mean, I know I have to build the ramp here, but it has this turning lane. I think what I have to do is, there's a on-slope transition, so I'm not sure if that's the only way to do it, because there's no elevated turning lane connection pieces you can build right now. So I don't think there is, at least. So I'm gonna put the hole digger razor lots here. Go to 15 meters. Just level that out a bit, and then I'm gonna drag the avenue out from there. Now to watch closely to make sure it didn't shift those tiles away from 15 meters at all, because that can happen sometimes when you're dragging that out. That's why I try to drag far out like this right now. So that worked pretty well, and I can get rid of these road tiles now. And what I want to do is, I think it's somewhere, maybe in this menu, there should be a puzzle piece to transition. I think it's this one actually, is that it? That can't be right. Should be a special one that transitions with a turning lane from ground to elevated here. Doesn't say. Maybe it's in the other menu. So let's see, it might be in the RHW Avenue interface pieces, because that's what it's related to, this interchange specifically. That's why I had to add that piece. Where is that? Can't seem to find it. Oh, maybe it's in the tulips, which is the turning lane network, or turning lane extensions. I think it should be in here, actually. Maybe. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at the triple tile ones, I think. There's the basic one. Yep, okay. That's what I'm looking for. See how it continues the turning lane through the on-slope piece right up to the intersection. I could just fill this with regular tulip tiles. I'm going to just use the flex tulips. So that can be, that's just the easier way of doing that. So, I don't know. This going up to a highway, I usually cap my turning lanes at 4 tiles in urban areas. Generally it's 3 actually. I'm going to give it a lot more, because longer turning lane, because it's going up to a freeway interchange like that. So now we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles of turn lane. So that will be plenty of queuing space, at least for the cars. Vehicles going up to that. Well, that's pretty simple to make that kind of interchange. It's already done now, so there wasn't really much figuring out that had to be done. Very straightforward. I mean, the interchange, this kind of interchange, the advantage is the left turn lanes being right across from each other compared to having an intersection here and an intersection here in a basic diamond interchange. They'll actually, there's only one stoplight right over the highway, where left turns can be made here and right turns can proceed without a traffic light. So that helps traffic move better compared to having two stoplights here and there. So let's see. What I need to do now, like I said, I wanted to curve this avenue here, so I'm going to get my curves puzzle pieces. People ask me a lot about what mods I use, so I'm going to just try to tell you while I'm making the video if I notice something in particular. Like this is by a user on Simtropolis named SithLord98. And this is, I think, two different mods. One's called the T21 mod, which is what adds the street lights and the trees to this curve puzzle piece, and the other one's for adding the white sidewalks. Before it was just untextured in the default version. And those make it look a lot nicer. So, like I said, I wanted to connect to this avenue eventually. So, what I'll do is get rid of the... And actually I don't have to get rid of much of it, but I can destroy this middle tile at least. I have to do that. So I can rebuild this intersection. I'm going to pause the game so we don't have to disrupt traffic. There's no need for a construction period in SimCity at least, so you can just pause time for a while and rebuild the roads. Let's see. So I'll give it up to here. Might as well go up to this overpass in the railway. You know what, maybe I shouldn't do that, because look, it's messing up the middle tile. It's not overriding properly, so because I have two elevated rails right next to each other, so I'm going to redo that actually. What I need to do then is put the transition piece AV6, put it one tile further out there. I'll have a little bit of a nice planted median at least. Right here. Well, it's not like... Oh, I see, because this got destroyed. There. I've got a little bit of median left. And the turn lane begins. So one kind of a comment I wanted to make as far as the NAM the network add-on mod adding these new curves, or not curves, turning lane pieces for the flex tulips, is that you actually can't intersect a street or a road halfway right here, like, so that's kind of a disadvantage of these flex pieces, because with the default ones, like here, they're only taking up this middle tile of the avenue, and you can actually intersect a road or a street, or it's a right turn only intersection right here. It won't let you do that because this puzzle piece includes all three of these tiles in this new version. So hopefully they can change that in the next version of the network add-on mod. That would be helpful in some situations where you're trying to build a tight intersection there. So let's see, I need the rest of the... I'm going to do that again, have one more transition piece like I did over there. Let's give it 3 tiles, not 4. And next I'm going to put the intersection piece here, right in the middle. Something you might not have known, I mean, something I didn't know until recently actually is that with these pieces you can also intersect like this one right here. In the older version of the network add-on mod you could only do, I'll show you with this, but this is how I found out the quick turn pieces. See, like you could only do like intersections like this and like this. And if you were doing 3 and 2 tile networks of avenues, it could be like this. So it's a single left turn lane, but now they added it so you can interface the dual left turn lanes right here with the 3 tile avenues. So that's pretty cool to see. A little addition that I didn't find out until like last week about that, so that's useful. So we have our whole intersection all complete now, which is great. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to drag this under here because that new that kind of overpass isn't supported based on the fact that I have a diagonal elevated rail here. So I'm going to have to, let's see, what should I... So what I was thinking, like I said, I would build an interchange here, I think, so I'm going to have to transition that to avenue 2, or 4 lanes avenue. Actually, I might not, because I'm thinking I might be able to, because they can overpass, or you can have an orthogonal elevated rail go over that AVE6 network, just not diagonally like it was. So I'm going to make that straight through here. I can curve it at this point, and that will actually work just fine, I think. And then I'll rebuild that where the switch where they come together here. So if this all goes to plan, I'm going to be able to turn this AVE6 into an RHW6C overpass, and going to be a level 1, so it can go under the elevated rail and over these other highways. If everything overrides properly, it lets me do that, hopefully. That would be pretty cool, because I've never actually done something like that before, I don't think. Not very often. So I'm going to build, let's see, I'm going to look in the RHW menu and get the flex height pieces. I'm going to use the regular slope transitions, not the on-slope ones where you have to actually build the slope with the land and everything, because this is more compact, this kind of an urban area. So right now, of course, they're just showing, they'll show up as RHW2, but they'll convert when they're finished. So if I drag this, let's see, I'll drag this right up to here, I think. So again, it's time to figure out what kind of an interchange do I want here. And like I said, it's going to be kind of hard. It might not even let me do this the way I want to, so I'm thinking maybe just a folded diamond, which is a partial clover leaf. B2, I think it's called, technically. So that's going to be like the ramps curve around a little loop ramp and then intersect with the road here. So what I need to do now is drag this RHW out from here. It automatically converts to RHW6C because that's the network that can interface directly with AV6. And here's the tricky part. This is probably not going to work at first. I'm going to drag this all the way through. Well, it got that it was elevated at least, but it's RHW2 showing up here, so I'm going to keep dragging more parts through here. So we can see the override is, oh, would you look at that? I mean, let's see. Yeah, it looks like this rightmost tile is completely working, so... Ah, well look, that was a lot easier than I expected. The whole thing worked just fine. So we can see now the elevated rail going over this at 15 meters, and 7.5 meters is the overpass for the avenue It's going over the ground level freeway. Even the Project Symphony Maxis Highway override right here that I have is working just fine with that, so that's great to see all that working easily. So, I'm gonna quick save. And this might be a bit tricky. I have to terraform a bit with this coastline here because it's got a curve 90 degrees. So I'm glad I was actually able to keep this as a 6-lane avenue. Not converting it to 4 lanes, at least not yet. It will be eventually when it gets to... It's going to connect with this over here. So, like I said, my loop ramps will be around here, so I'm going to build those now. And what I'm going to do is use a E1 type exit. I'm going to put it starter right here. I'm trying to remember, like I said, I have a hard time with remembering all these, but it's easy to build the A and B type ones, but this is one where the outer lane will actually split off here. I think I know what I'm thinking of. I was like, you have to do something diagonally. You gotta drag diagonal out from here, like that, and then you gotta kind of give it a little jog in the road, like, and just shifting this over by a tile, and then it turns into the right type of exit, but I gotta click a few times to get it to convert to the right kind of freeway, hopefully. Maybe I have to drag it a bit further out, because sometimes that can, if it's too close to an overpass, it won't work properly. Right about here, I think. Still not working right. I think I know what's the reason why. It's because it's trying to be RHW6S in this side, and that won't work. It's got to be 4 after the exit. So now it's converting to MAS. I'm going to place an RHW4 starter piece right here. See if I can get that to work right. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, okay, that's all fixed up now. That's exactly what I wanted. Get rid of that starter piece. I always demolish them because you just mess things up later on if you forget about them. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, get rid of a little bit of this length here. The ramp I need is actually in the old ramps menu. It's this one right? No, it's not actually. It's the RHW2 version of that, which is this Y splitter. It says depreciated, but it's really not, because there's no replacement for it yet, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go back to that. I'm trying to make this as small and compact as possible still. It's not gonna let me plop it on top of this. I think it's the other one that you can. This is kind of a weird ramp because you can't. It's the way it connects to the freeway, or the ramp is you can plop it over in some situations, and other ones you can't. Which would be, in this case, I need to do this first. Get rid of this. So what it's going to do is it's going to let me plop that right over this existing freeway or ramp. See how it lets you put it right there, but the other one doesn't. This side won't let you do that for some reason. You actually have to use a filler piece. I try to avoid using the fillers in this case, like, because just try to keep it as simple as possible. Not have any puzzle pieces if I don't need them. Like on this side, I didn't really need to use one, so that's good. And let's see, gotta do the same as I did over here. It's pretty simple. Just drag it like that, and drag that and connect it. Great. So now I've got my interface with the freeway here. Next thing to do is give it a... Well, you know what I'm going to do actually is to place a transition. So, okay, so I'm gonna get a left and right turning lane here. But I'm gonna make that so the turning lane actually curves like that. The only way to do that is make it a asymmetrical road, a RD3, like this. So I think it should work though. But you know, at the same time, might be better. I'm trying to keep this as far as possible, these two stoplights spaced out as much as I can. So I'm actually gonna try and make this more of a compact thing by not adding that additional space for the transition. I'm gonna put the curve way back here, if I can. Fortunately, it doesn't look like I'll be able to. And I can always use this small curve though. It's not quite close, not quite enough space for the big one. I don't know, maybe it would work. Let me see if I get rid of all this. Oops. Oh yeah, that does work actually, so I got just enough room. This is like a continuous curve, it's a little more aesthetically appealing. Coming off the ramp here, curves all the way around instead of having a straight section in the middle. I like that better usually. And we want a stoplight here, so I'm gonna drag a conversion to road. Actually, get rid of this now. So there's half the interchange completed now. Got our first intersection. The other one, like I said, might be tricky. Just because it's got the shoreline so close here. So I'm first gonna drag out some RHW 6 from here. I'm actually gonna level out some tiles here with the road to make sure that they... Otherwise the slope can just make it harder for me to build this. So, we got our RHW dragged out from the ramp here, but I need to drag one more tile, then drag road out from it so it will convert into AV6. Actually do TLA7, it looks like it's trying to do that instead. But I'll fix that in a bit. But first, it's going to be hard because I need to make a little tight 90-degree curve right after the intersection here. I'm first going to make this intersection. So that doesn't look right at first, of course. But let's see. You know what though? I don't need to put that right here actually, because that's, like I said, I'm curving this avenue 90 degrees in this direction. I'm just going to make a straight ramp, set of ramps coming up from here and intersect it with the avenue after it curves. So first of all, I need to make sure this is AVE6, not TLA7. That's what I want. TLA7 is for a suburban area, really. So I'm going to put that starter piece here. Get the median instead. And see if I can just do that. Oops. Doesn't seem to wanna stay as AVE6 though, that's the problem. See if we can get that to change. And see, it's trying to convert it right here. See, it just converted right up to part of that curve. I think what it prefers is to become TLA7 if you drag right off from a RHW6. See? So I'm gonna see how I can do this. If I do that, it messes it up, but it gets the curve to be the right network. It's not really important, I guess, for this little space, but I just like to make sure it's more consistent going up to there. Let's see if I can... There, that's what I want. You know what, I can actually drag this a little further out now. So, that looks correct now, that's good. And like I said, the ramps will go straight down to this avenue. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Drag diagonally and then again to make that kind of a ramp. Get rid of a bit of it here so I can build that splitter. There, that's what I want. It's not the right network yet, but let's see if I can fix that up. I have to use a starter piece in the middle here. Right here, actually. And that converts that one properly, and then I'm gonna drag that, and it's fixed. Except for that tile for some reason. There. Demolish the starter piece, and drag this through again. Okay, now it's looking good. Okay, so I need to demolish this tile, I think. I can build that ramp. I need to use that filler piece too. Yeah, I don't usually use the MIS fillers. I just use the RHW4, and then what I do is demolish that tile, and it's left with a stub connecting to that piece, and I can just drag it out again, and it's all draggable. Now I can click on that and it will work. I mean, it won't say unsuitable area or whatever. It's because I like to keep everything draggable if I can, because they can get wealthified with grass and all that if they're draggable, and not the puzzle. The puzzle pieces can't do that, so get rid of those unnecessary filler pieces now. And right here, I'm going to just, let's see. Yep. So I'm going to make an actual turning lane here. Left and right turn lanes. I'm going to put my flex turning lane pieces, starter piece here, drag it out to this avenue, and I'm going to give the avenue some turning lanes too. I don't know how much that will let me though. See, that messed up that right there. The problem with these. You know what, I think I could actually use the old kind though. Maybe. That would let me do it then. That's another reason why I don't like how it occupies this tile right here, the outer two, for that transition, because that can mess up these curves as well. So I'm going to use the old turning lanes for triple tile pieces. And you see right there, it doesn't actually screw this up right here like it did a second ago. So I can put my turning lane right there, and it's all looking good now, except for this right here looks a little messed up. Can make that look right. Okay, there we go, that's what I want. Okay, so well, the problem is, I don't think this is going to connect as an actual functioning turning lane because it doesn't think, it thinks this intersection is with an avenue without a turn lane. Let's see if it's right. Typing draw paths right now. Control X. Oh, no, actually I was wrong. It's connecting, so... Yep, everything looks fine actually. Hide paths. Yes, very good. I was thinking I'd have to put an actual puzzle piece for this intersection, but I don't, so that's good. Now my interchange is all complete. That's my second one for this episode. Pretty simple, basic types of interchanges. So now what's left to do is extend this avenue to connect to the other part way over there, like I wanted to, and I will do that in a second. Just gotta flatten out some more shoreline so I can build that. Eventually I'm going to put a seawall here so it actually looks nice instead of just being a rocky cliff. Looks kind of weird. I don't know why I'm doing this all. Right now I can just drag it all the way, in fact, instead of doing short increments like that. So now it's all flattened out in preparation for extending this avenue. I'm going to do that then. Looks good. And the next thing I'll do is put a transition piece here to transition that so I can connect up to this avenue. It's 4 lanes instead of 6. The only problem is it is only a puzzle piece and you don't get any sidewalks or anything right now, so maybe that'll be fixed in the future. It doesn't really look the best either in my opinion. I don't know, something about it just... No offense to whoever made the piece, but I'm very picky about the aesthetics of stuff like this, though. It's just that what I'm saying is how the median kind of, the curves aren't continuous from one side to the next. There's a little bit of a bulge here. That's what I mean. That's alright though, it's not the worst thing really. Still looks pretty decent. I'm gonna transition right here, and then I'm gonna put my 45-degree curves. The nice thing about those is you can have a not just a regular puzzle piece version like it was before, but there's a flex version, which is, I guess the only advantage of that right now is that you can have sidewalks and grass when you get development on it. It's well-defined for that. So that is nicer, and you can drag right up into that puzzle piece with the avenue network. Here, I think that's aligned right. Hard to tell, really. Nope, it was right the first time. Okay. There you go, there's that finished avenue. Looking pretty nice. No need to do anything with interchanges with this inside freeway, because that's the express freeway going under below grade beneath the collector distributor road here, which is the one which will have ramps. And that's just so that regional traffic can just go right under everything, all the interchanges. I'll probably build 1 or 2 more in the future. so that there's no need for as much traffic conflicts in that case. And it reduces that. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'm gonna drag this elevated rail over the freeway and just get that taken care of, and that's I'm not sure how that's gonna go this direction, I suppose, at some point. Add some more stations later on, of course. So, yep, and there's that for now, at least. Got 2 interchanges done and an extended avenue. And I think I'm gonna end the episode around here. It feels like it's been a while, so that I've been making this one. So let's see. Nothing else piling up. No garbage, I mean, that I can tell. Yeah, it's going down steadily, not as fast as it could, but that's good at least. It's going down. Of course, it's still paused. I guess I've had it paused this whole time. So yeah, the city in general is looking just fine. So anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time.